neon lights, white suits, cocaine-fueled escapades. Yes, excess remains the headline figure of 1980s nostalgia. But what nostalgia quickly disregards are the drab underpinnings of late 20th century economics. I know, gag me with a spoon. But case in point is the BMW 528e. Often overshadowed by its cooler siblings the 533 and M5, the 528 worked a thankless job. By catering to cafe standards, its highly efficient powertrain and sensible restraint in nearly all aspects quickly drew criticism from enthusiasts. 123 horsepower and 11 seconds to 60 was disappointing, to put it lightly. But the Bavarians were experts at this game, and the 528e was a sales tour de force. Thanks to its pragmatic charm, the cash flow it brought allowed for the development of its more radical counterparts, which are so coveted today. So thank you, humble 528e. Today is the day you finally get the spotlight. Now let's see what secrets you're hiding after 300,000 miles. Alright, let's address the obvious right away. The American bumpers make it look like it has the underbite of an inbred royal family member. You could practically land a helicopter on those platforms, shovel a snowed-in driveway with that plow, park it next to a pool and dive off of them. We get it. But if we could just look past them, and I mean way past them, you'd find a car that's in rather exceptional condition for its age and mileage. Overall, there are few blemishes to note aside from one unfortunate spot of rust, some cracks in its lights, and mild bumper imperfections. Its remarkable condition is no accident, however. Unlike many cars of this vintage, this one is only on its second owner, and the first of which bought the car in 1987 and maintained detailed service records until selling it 33 years later. With an owner that dedicated, it's no wonder that when it came to refresh the aging paint, they didn't hesitate to spend over $3,000 to refinish its Arctic blue paint in 2010. And more recently in 2018, $600 was spent to replace trim on the bumper and door handles, as well as the wheel center caps and door frame seal. It's all about the details. And speaking of which, check out how many BMW logos are all over this car. Clearly, this car was loved. Nothing says this more than the amount of times the radio antenna has had to be replaced. At $31 a pop, the antenna mast has been replaced 6 times. The service records even show that it was replaced twice within 6 months of each other, oddly enough. And wouldn't you know it, it broke yet again under current ownership. It's stuck at about 4 inches of extension. Boy, do I know that struggle. But you know, some people actually think 4 inches is more than enough. Blue on blue on blue. It's a color scheme that you could only get away with in the 1980s, or if you happen to make music with PVC pipes. Certainly a bold choice, and in my opinion, it's all the better for it. But what makes this interior even more unique is the condition. It's immaculate. This should be of no surprise though, considering how meticulous the previous owner was. And a quick dive into the extensive service records paints a clear picture of diligence and care. Or is it obsessive-compulsive? I'll let you decide. To start, we'll look at the seats. At this point in time, they're in nearly mint condition, aside from one small hole in the back seat. According to the records though, this condition might be short-lived. I say that because between 1989 and 2016, the driver's seat back was repaired 5 times, the passenger seat back repaired twice, and rear seats upholstered once. Perhaps the German engineers underestimated the insatiable American appetite for McDonald's. Yeah, if they want to drive our cars, they will just have to lose weight, yeah? The repairs don't end there, however. Sun visors, door latch adjustments, window switches, shift linkages, window motors, door lock actuators, and even 2 ashtrays were all repaired or replaced. I'm beginning to lean more towards obsessive-compulsive after seeing that. The final repair worth noting is the odometer. It's been replaced twice. The first one made it 230,000 miles and was quickly repaired, though that one only lasted a couple years before the current owner had to fix it again. It's estimated that the car was driven 10,000 miles before it was fixed again, so the current reading is lower than the actual mileage. Needless to say, if you want an interior this nice, it'll cost you both money and sanity. And who needs either of those? Up to this point, a clear pattern has begun to emerge. Keeping a vintage German luxury car in excellent condition requires sociopathic levels of patience and the bank account of an anesthesiologist. I knew I should have picked an easier word to say. Well, you get the idea. You need a bunch of money. How much to be exact? Well, lucky for you, those service records I've been referencing reveal our answer. After owning the car for 33 years and over 280,000 miles, maintenance and repairs totaled a grand value of $40,955.72. Oh, I'm breaking into a cold sweat just thinking about it. And that's before we add an additional $6,500 under current ownership over the past 2 years. Now, we know where some of that money went towards already, but as you can imagine, the bulk of it went towards mechanical repairs. As you've seen, the list is extensive, so I'll just focus on the highlights for now. Though I do recommend pausing the video and reading through the entire list of repairs for full effect. For starters, the head gasket was a recurring character in this car's story, replaced twice by the first owner and once under current ownership. Another recurring cost was idle control units. Again, replaced twice under previous ownership and once more recently. It's also eaten through 2 mufflers, 3 throttle cables, and 5 valve cover gaskets. At least it's still technically the original engine and transmission, albeit it's beginning to resemble the ship of Theseus by this point. Engine and drivetrain components overwhelmingly dominate the repair list, but less attention was paid to the chassis. So naturally, this task has fallen upon the current owner. Every nook and cranny of the suspension has been tended to. Control arms, struts, ball joints, bushings, springs, you name it. He's even replaced the notorious subframe bushings, which from what I'm told is only slightly less excruciating than having your fingernails removed with a rusty box cutter. In the end though, it's all worth it. That's what being a car enthusiast is all about. You spend all your money on an inanimate machine, jeopardize your physical and mental well-being, and dissociate from friends and family on greasy garage floors, just to have that satisfaction of owning a car that still doesn't work quite right. Ah, what a great hobby. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you at the next mile.